Hello there and welcome to Beelzebub's Buns channel. In this video, I want to show the extended sections and additions to the Pillar of Autumn level in Halo SPV 3.2. First, however, I do want to touch on the dynamic lens flares that you see in this video. Dynamic lens flares are an option of Halo SPV 3.2's visual modification, therefore you can disable them. It was striking to me at first when I saw the lens flares, as they haven't always been in the mod of Halo SPV 3. But in this current version of Halo SPV 3.2, I do like the way the lens flares look, as I believe that there have been some minor improvements done to them, considering the minor updates to the 3.2 version of this mod. Regardless of the improvements done to the lens flares, you can disable them from the Halo SPV 3.2 launcher. When you go to run Halo SPV 3.2, just click on the Settings tab and you will see at the bottom that you can uncheck Dynamic Lens Flares. And this is what it looks like when the lens flares are disabled. As you can see, certain light sources are still expected to generate a more static lens flare. It's all just personal preference, and here's what it looks like back with the dynamic lens flare. It's necessary to know that the lens flare's intensity is all relative to the object that they are generated from. Alright, so let's move to the Pillar of Autumn in Halo SPV 3.2. I'm just going to edit through the beginning section because most of the extension to the Pillar of Autumn level is after you have the quick chin wig with Captain Keyes and you make your way through the maintenance tunnels. After that is when the level really starts to change from what we've been used to for so many years. You see those automated turrets that are attached to the ceiling of the Pillar of Autumn. I have always thought that automated turrets are such a video game trope, but in Halo SPV 3.2, the difficulty is no joke. Therefore, those turrets really do come in handy, especially when you have the option to run and activate them in certain sections of the Pillar of Autumn level, which I will show you here soon. The Pillar of Autumn's bridge has been touched up to signify importance and distinguish the pride for the fact that you are on this Halcyon-class cruiser, known as the Pillar of Autumn. What is also a great addition to the lore are the numerous intel reports scattered throughout all of the levels in Halo SPV 3.2, and the Pillar of Autumn is no exception to that. When Halo Combat Evolved introduced us to its own combat verticality, this is where the automated turrets I discussed earlier come in handy in the landing above us section. I am playing on normal difficulty, as there is no easy difficulty to select in Halo SPV 3.2, so just know that these turrets will likely become one of your best friends in the game if you play on a higher difficulty. After the second maintenance tunnel section, you will see the subtitle, A Whole New World, and this signifies the extension of the Pillar of Autumn level. Things seem relatively the same as the vanilla version of running through the Pillar of Autumn's corridors, and if you disregard the fact that you can wield a battle rifle and you are shooting at brutes, amongst other differences, but this is the point of transcendence into the extended part of the Pillar of Autumn. There is no going back from this point on. What I really like what the developers for Halo SPV 3.2 did in this section is they expanded the rooms of what we are used to seeing from the Pillar of Autumn in Halo Combat Evolved, the vanilla version. By the way, not only was attention given on a large scale, but it's the minor details that I love about Halo SPV 3.2. In this particular instance, it's the visible round that you can see in the pistol's magazine that is about to be inserted into the pistol itself. When I see this little glimpse of the first round that will soon be fired, I feel like there is some mechanical feature to the weapons. As far as the extended sections, I feel as though the developers added variety to the cosmetic appeal of the Pillar of Autumn's interior. The whole spaceship, the Pillar of Autumn, feels more like a spaceship in which human beings would spend months on as they travel throughout the Halo universe. The addition of including Cryo Bay B as a playable section as you fight your way to a lifeboat reveals some subtle awareness of the developers that they were not just adding sections that didn't make much sense, but rather the rooms serve a purpose for the Marines and the naval crew on board. Here is my most memorable section. You can activate the gravity for the large interior room I am about to enter. All will be fine if you turn the gravity online, if the Navy individual has been killed. If the Navy individual is still standing, he is just ensuring the gravity remains active. But if the Navy member is killed and you do not reactivate the gravity system, you will experience low gravity, and the combat section becomes quite different here. This low gravity feature may bother some Halo fans, but I believe this was executed as well as it ever could have been. It is likely when a player sees a saturated red hue from a monitor, they will approach it and simply push the button to reactivate the gravity. And this is assuming the Navy member has been killed, which he doesn't die all the time. If you as the player do not activate the gravity system, that doesn't mean the rest of the level or a major section of the level is low gravity. In fact, the system will attempt to stabilize itself and reactivate the gravity, and it may become destabilized before stabilizing again.
Gravity stabilized.
What would a Halo level be without sleeping grunts? Though of course I didn't get far with being silent in this level. A harder difficulty would certainly promote the idea of taking out the Covenant as silently as possible without spending ammunition. Although I must say that firing at brutes with this battle rifle and the ability to fire single shot when utilizing the scope, or opting for the legendary 3-shot burst scoped in or not scoped in, is such a satisfying feeling. This extended part of the Pillar of Autumn ensures the brutes do not charge you, but rather fire and throw grenades at you from a distance, since you are on separate platforms. Shortly after, however, is where you will find yourself alone, on the same platform with a few Spec Ops elites and a brute pack, waiting to take you out in low light conditions. Luckily, there is a thermal visor mode pickup right as you enter this section, and this will highlight the thermal heat of the big furry and cuddly brutes that are trying to cut you open a bit. As you can see, I've equipped it here, and the thermal visor does last for a good while. I am just toggling it between on and off because I do enjoy the natural lighting that the developers achieved with this section of the level. The cylinder containers that you fight around and take cover behind do blow up at times in this section, so keep that in mind when you're in the fray.
Don't waste your pity on them. I don't think they like you much anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, Cortana and many other characters have dialogue which is either taken from other Halo games throughout the franchise, or dialogue that had been cut by Bungie or 343 Industries, and the developers for Halo SPV 3.2 have implemented them in various sections of all the levels in Halo SPV 3.2. It is neat to hear little changes in dialogue as you're playing Halo SPV 3.2. Because if you've played Halo Combat Evolved around about north of 1 billion times since its launch many years ago, the subtle dialogue changes in Halo SPV 3.2 sprinkles just a little more variety, flavor if you will, and the dialogue helps flesh out a character in which you can recite their vanilla lines verbatim. But in Halo SPV 3.2, there are some curveballs when it comes down to dialogue on levels that you are foreign to.
Inside, the Covenant must have brought something with them.
Is it a bomb, Cortana? Is that what the Covenant brought? Not on my Pillar of Autumn. Oh, no, I think they brought hunters. Well, that wasn't so tough, though like I mentioned, I am on the easiest difficulty, and if you weren't expecting the hunters in that location, they could have made their way through the room and given you a hard time. But if you play Halo SPV 3.2 in chronological order, this segment is where you get introduced to pick up the hunter's fuel rod cannons, which we all wanted to do in Halo Combat Evolved. There's no denying that. As you can see from this segment of the extended Pillar of Autumn level in Halo SPV 3.2, the fuel rod's cannon power is capitalized due to the warthogs surrounding the location in which the Covenant decide to take cover behind. This is the developer's way of telling you to let loose with the fuel rods, but there are still going to be enemies to pick off with your other weapon. You cannot drive the warthogs in the extended Pillar of Autumn level in Halo SPV 3.2, but you can occupy the turret and passenger seat if you feel like it. However, the warthogs in this section of the level just make for a good object to create a larger blast radius with. And here I'm just showing you that even if you try to get in on the driver's side, the game will automatically send you to the passenger side. It's no secret that the final level, named the Maw in Halo Combat Evolved, over-exaggerated the size of the Pillar of Autumn with the Warthog run. But that is of course for gameplay purposes, to conclude with a highly dramatic ending. In this Halo SPV 3.2 mod for the level The Pillar of Autumn, the developers give you a sense of size for the Pillar of Autumn that feels right with the long corridors and the widened hallways, while implementing the elevator that we are all familiar with in the Maw. You still feel confined on a ship, but there was never a point in which I thought to myself that I should have ended this level a long time ago due to the Pillar of Autumn's size and the time in which I have been playing the level. I believe there is also a unique reason for this level to have kept my interest with its rather long extension, and that was due to the fact that you fight alongside the UNSC Marines in a lot of areas. I have always wished for an infiltration type of scenario with UNSC Marines in Halo Combat Evolved, and that's because the AI, I believe, was implemented so well, but only in a few short areas. Halo Combat Evolved would prevent some UNSC Marine squads to follow you into structures, which prevented some potential chaotic firefights. In Halo SPV 3.2 though, the UNSC Marines are plentiful in areas that drive you in a singular direction, therefore you feel as though you are charging with a battle-hardened squad. At least in this extended Pillar of Autumn level, you feel as though the Marines are trying to escort you off the ship with Cortana, as it is Captain's orders under Cole Protocol. The Pillar of Autumn in Halo SPV 3.2 certainly is not the longest level that has been implemented in the entire SPV 3.2 mod. The Silent Cartographer Evolved level can be very lengthy, especially if you like to take your time and perhaps you play on a high difficulty. Keep in mind, normal mode can be a bit abnormal, but this SPV 3.2 mod was created and vetted by Halo fanatics for other Halo fanatics. Therefore, the increase in difficulty is necessary for this mod to give you something to work on for many hours to come. As we wrap up this extended Pillar of Autumn level, I really like the fact that the creators decided that the ending wouldn't consist of you throwing a bunch of grenades like nobody's business behind some barriers. Instead, some angry Covenant elites, more specifically 2 Ultras and a Major, oh yeah, and a couple grunts, they all have a clear path to charge towards you to cut your goal of escape just short. If you have yet to play Halo SPV 3.2, this video gives you some expectations on what you'll experience as you play it firsthand. But when all is said and done in this video, the best way to experience this awesome mod, and the entire Halo franchise for that matter, is to experience it under your control. I realize not every Halo fan has played SPV 3.2, therefore I felt it was right to analyze the level The Pillar of Autumn in depth and to put it into my context of how I perceive it. If you want to see my analysis on other Halo SPV 3.2 levels, go ahead and let me know. These animals that are chasing me, trying to take a bite out of me, they are known as blind wolves. They were cut content from Bungie years back when Halo was in development, and they are implemented in Halo SPV 3.2. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next videos.